Good morning. Happy Saturday. Happy 9 a.m. thrift haul. It is bright and early, and I appreciate y'all for hopping on. As you do hop on, say hello. Let me know where you're watching from. I am streaming live on Facebook and YouTube today, so I will keep comments and questions as straight as I can. Good morning, Tracy. Y'all, I have a beautiful thrift haul today. I did a ton of shopping, and I already have all of it on my website. So upcycledbybrie.com in the Shop the Haul collection. I've dropped that in the chat and in the description box. If you see something you love, hurry, run over and buy it, and then come back and hang out because items will sell fast. I've curated a beautiful kind of green and neutral collection for this Saturday. And at the end, we're going to do a little bit of a milk painting project. So I'm super excited. Oh, let's get right into it. What do y'all think? A pretty little look here. I've been doing lots of like yellows, popping in some red and stuff lately, things I'm not super used to. So I thought we'd get back to some normal colors. And it is a gloomy day. We're on day like 5 of gloom. I'm on day like 15 of allergies, but it's okay. It's okay because we have a pretty haul. Let's start off with this adorable pig planter. Honestly, I did so much shopping this week. I don't remember where I got him. I think it might have been the bins because he does have this chip in him, but that's okay. We love him nonetheless. A little bit of age definitely on the bottom and in the chip. So I did call him a vintage pig planter. I have him up at $10.95. And I think he came from the bins, which means I probably paid around $1 for him. He is a really good, like teal, almost blue color with some really good age and patina. Looks like he's been used a time or two before, but I did wash him out. And I just love his pointy little pig nose. Have y'all been doing your planting yet? I have a couple of things that I've purchased, but I haven't got anything actually planted yet. It's been so rainy. I haven't been able to do like any outdoor projects besides mow. That's no fun. I found a ton of aged spools. I did list a couple up today and saved some more for the next week. But this one has a gorgeous green middle. I did stick some greenery out of the top of it. And the spool itself has a little bit of age and staining, which I'm obsessed with. I like when these look a little older. Sometimes it does benefit to look up inside of them. I have found several that were like made in Italy. But this one does appear to be made in the USA. $12.95, and I paid around $1 for it. Is everybody enjoying a cup of coffee this morning? I was up bright and early, so I already had mine. Here's another spool that I found. These were in like a big, huge bag. Found them yesterday at Thrift World, and there were a couple little ladies eyeballing them, standing there by the craft section, and I was being very patient. And they walked away, so I went in, and they walked away. But I went in and swooped it, and I heard them say, well, guess we're not going to get them now. I was like, oh, sorry. But you walked away. I did stick some beautiful greenery in here. I have been finding the best greenery in the bins. Yesterday was no different. I found 2 just big old bags and bundles of random mixed greenery, which is my favorite because then you can kind of clip it apart and make your own little floral arrangements. $10.95 on my thread spool, and I paid around $1. Good morning, Jenny Lee. How are you, my friend? Bright and early on this Saturday. Some adorable crocheted trivets. Or hot pads. I don't know. I don't trust these to pull hot pans out of the oven, so I call them trivets, right? I would not. Don't pull. Don't do it. Trivets for sure. $8.95 on the trio, and they are just so stinking cute. I also thought they'd be fun for projects, like almost. I don't know, like almost to stick inside of a basket for a wall basket collage. Does that make sense? Hold on. I have a round basket right here. We'll see if my idea works. So for instance, I thrifted these yesterday. It was a basket day at the bins. What if we like stuck them inside of baskets? I fixed them somehow to put up on our wall basket collage. That might be kind of cute, right? Or even if you don't want to put them on the wall, putting them in the bottom of your baskets when you make your little displays would be cute as well. Anyways, I could not let these go to the dump I rescued them from the bins. They are absolutely great colors. $8.95 on the trio of 3. Drop in the comments, how would you use these besides like, trivets? This was another bins save, and I am calling it a vintage planter cover. I could be totally wrong. I was afraid for a second that it used to be a trash can, but like looking inside, I don't think so. I was thinking it had a bottom, but I really don't think it was. So I think it would be really great to set your potted plant down inside of it. Maybe a plant, like a plastic bucket or something that wasn't as attractive. So much good rust and texture on this thing. There's 3 holes right here, so I'm assuming it might have had some kind of medallion on it. You could always affix a clay mold over the top or leave it, or maybe a little fabric with a stencil or stamp, a little piece of drop cloth. That would be cute too. Oh, Tracy said she would frame the trivets. That would be adorable, Tracy. Some little like square wood frames, super cottagey, right? And I also am always obsessed with this metal lace, and it's so rusty and so good. It cost me around $1, so I had to save it. I think it would just look gorgeous with a big plant sticking out of this. Oh, $29.95, and I pulled it out of the bins for $1 or so. This guy was really hard to get rid of. Now I have one more. There was 2. They're exactly the same. So I might keep the other one, or it might eventually make it to a whatnot auction. We will see. But I found these adorable bunny candles at Thrift World. Now they are sold as is because you can see some of the paint job on them has been scratched off. But there aren't any big like chips or nicks or breaks in the wax. So we're calling that distressing. And we love it. The little eyeballs are still there. So sweet. And the guy behind me in line was like, "Are you going to burn those?" And I was like, "No, sir. No, sir." They were $3.98. I have them up at $19.95, or there's only one, but absolutely love the colors and everything. It would look good next to kind of like a taller, maybe candlestick or something where it could like look like it's peering up at it. Do you guys hear the weed whacker? I always forget in the springtime that people like to mow on Saturday mornings. I need to before it rains. We'll see if it happens. I made a little mini vignette. I have it up at $24.95, and I went down to Greenwood, got a huge stash of cheese boxes while I was there. This one has some gorgeous blue and red detail, which is going to be perfect for Memorial Day, Labor Day, 4th of July, all of those holidays we've got coming up. Inside, I did stick an amber bottle that has a beautiful rusted lid, a few vintage clothespins, and some gorgeous greenery. So ready right here just to stick on your shelf and be beautiful. You don't have to think about it. It's instant. Or you could take this all apart and style it however you want. Good morning, Terry, from a rainy Minnesota. Oh, good morning. It is a gloomy morning in Independence, Missouri, but we are supposed to be getting like a ton of bad weather today. I'm just going to stay inside and work on projects. I found a couple of pairs of vintage baby shoes. Now, I've seen these styled up a couple of different ways. I just think they are so sweet. They would look so cute in a nursery up on the shelf. Just a soft little detail with the added floral in them. Look at all the wear on the bottom of the shoes. I just love that. It might even be cute to like, see, I almost want to stage it up to where you can like see the wear on the bottom. Also, these would look adorable on either end of a stack of books, maybe the right way, up on a nursery shelf too. Like little shoe bookends. You can always affix them. Oh, I have them up at $14.95. Sorry, I keep forgetting to tell you guys prices. $14.95, and I paid $3. You could always affix them to a piece of wood as well to make them a little more substantial for bookends. Grabbed this vintage shelf out of the bins yesterday. Love the shape on this. It does need it cleaned up just a little bit, but it has some great wear and patina on it. $14.95. I paid around $1, and this one would also be great with a little bit of milk paint or a little bit of a transfer up here, but I am like just digging the natural wood lately. Did y'all find anything good thrifting over the week? Let me know. I found a Le Saucier dispenser. I'm probably saying that totally wrong. This one is just a little aged. It's got a little bit of wear over the years. $14.95. I paid $2 for it at Thrift World. Did stick some greenery in it because that's what we do in the spring and summer. Greenery goes in everything. And if you have a copper collection going on, this was a really fun one to add. A little different shape. And then the pop of blue and white is always fun against that beautiful copper. I found a lot of copper over the last couple weeks. I've sold most of it already, but I found a bunch. It's been a while since I found a crock in the wild that I could afford. The Buckeye Pottery, Macomb, Illinois, I do believe is what that says on the bottom. It has got some amazing age and crazing and crackle. I looked at these little cracks here. They're not super substantial. There's one up here as well. So it is sold in as is condition. But to ship these, I bubbled them so good. And then I put them in a box inside of another box. So they will get there. It is $99.95 because they are tricky to ship, but I do like to pick them up occasionally, especially when they're this good and patinaed for those of you who can't find them. And I did pay up a little bit. I paid $16 on this at Frugal's, but I totally thought it was worth it. When you get such good deals at the bins, you can kind of spend a little bit more at the thrift stores, and it averages out a little bit. So little tip there for you if you are a reseller. Before I discovered the bin, well, before I lived close enough to the bins to shop them often, I could not pay that kind of pricing at the thrift store regularly. Good morning, Kim. How are you, my friend? I found some gorgeous antique dictionaries. They are in an as-is condition as well. They would make beautiful table books. They would make beautiful decor risers. Copyright 1889. And then also, if y'all want, you could use these for crafty pages. Good morning, Mary. How are you? Tessie's here. Hey, Rhonda. It's got some pictures in it, some good pictures throughout. These are really pretty displayed open as well, but I could not pass these up. I did get them at the antique store here locally. There were 4 of them. I listed one up today. I'm going to decide what I want to do with the rest. There was 10 in the series, and there was only 4 at the thrift or at the antique store. It was only $18 for all 4 of them. So I did grab them up. This one is up at $29.95. I paid like $4.50-ish, something like that. It's pretty. It's very heavy. It's hurting my wrist. Another, woo, pick up. Gosh, I almost dropped it. Another basket vignette here. Oh man, that made my heart race. There's nothing breakable, but I think it would have been okay. That scared me. $49.95 on this beautiful instant vignette. This basket, as you can see here, is a newer basket, but it does look like an aged vintage tobacco basket with the faux leather handles. Absolutely love it. I added in a gorgeous white flower, a huge doily that I picked from the bins yesterday. Isn't that stunning? Love, love, love the design on it. And a gorgeous Longfellow Poems books. This was also a Goodwill Bins find. It is missing its spine here, but we don't mind. And it's also got some great age on the pages. Look how tiny the print is. That's how you can, one of the ways you can tell it's super old. It does have a little love on the inside here from a child. And I don't think I was able to find a copyright. Let me try again. Old, copyright old. Yeah, it doesn't say. I could probably look it up, but I didn't. I love that little spot of like paint or whatever right there. So everything together in the basket. Again, stick this in the corner, stick it on a chair. It is ready to be displayed and styled, or you can pick it apart and display these items all over your home, restyle as you wish. I've been having fun making vignettes again. I don't think I had any last week. Okay, next up, a gorgeous green Afghan. And I do have the size of this in the description. I try to put the listings, the description on all the listings, the size of things. Does that make sense? Beautiful green colors on this, very well made. And I don't know, it doesn't even look like it's ever been washed. There's really no wear pilling on it at all. I paid $4.97 and I have it up, I do believe, at $39.95. Perfect combination of like a cream, a green, and just almost like a taupey color. Very pretty. Good morning, Jennifer. How are you? I have a basket trio here. I had to sell a few baskets on my live this morning because I found so many yesterday at the bins. I love this green one. It does have a couple little spots of chippiness. Honestly, what I would do is take a piece of sandpaper and kind of like distress it even more. But I'm going to leave that up to y'all whether you want to or not. I love the shape of this one and I love the green color. So I added in this little brown mini one that's kind of the same shape. So adorable. These would look great together in a vignette. Or if you're a reseller, to make like a little display in a booth with all the same baskets would be adorable. And then also this oval one that has the great green stripe through it. When am I going to sell the blue metal stool? Brenda, that will be Tuesday night, 5 p.m. I'm going to get all of those items pre-listed up this weekend. I'm going back tomorrow real quick at noon to get the red one because y'all yelled at me. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, I went antiquing last weekend and picked up a blue and white stool, but I left the red one behind and everybody got mad. You're welcome, Brenda. So I thought this little trio of baskets looked great together. 3 baskets for one price, $24.95 on the trio. All right, I have another broom because one actually sold. I love buying brooms and y'all don't love buying them, but that's just one of my things that I just keep buying. This one is great though. Absolutely love the shape on it. I love how it still has like the little pieces of like seeds in the grass or whatever. And then the light handle is a perfect color for spring. $14.95 on this broom, and I did pay $2 for it. This is a nice broom though. I tested it out just a little bit. It's a good one. Hoping to get some painting done today. 75 in California. I'm jealous, girl. I was just telling everybody it's been rainy here for like 5 days. Maybe only like 3, but it feels like more. I found this stunner in the Goodwill bins. Great condition, beautiful matte black color, and it's got a very sturdy metal ring on the bottom with some ball feet. This would be a beautiful centerpiece on a table. Just stunning, or a grapefruit basket if you've got a huge family. But I'm just picturing this like on a coffee table with some gorgeous orbs, a little bit of greenery, and it's so big right here. You could even put like, you know, like springtime, you could put like a cement bunny and then decorate around it, or in Christmas time, you could put a little tree in the middle. It's just a really big centerpiece bowl. And the fact that it was in the bins and not smashed to smithereens, I was super excited. I think this is the only little break on it right here. And if that bothered you, you could even just take like a Sharpie or black paint, whatever. $39.95, and I paid around $1 for it. $1.50 is usually my average price on items from bins. This is the little stool we're going to be painting here shortly. It was also a bin save. This was actually a couple weeks ago. I had some terrible fabric on it. I took the fabric off and there was some like weird glue, which I sanded and sanded and sanded. The glue did not want to come all the way off. So we're going to do a milk paint job and we're going to kind of play up on that right there. And I'm going to show you how you can just make it into a nice chippy distressed job and not stress yourself out about things like that. I would say decor only on this stool, or maybe like just a little rest your feet on stool, but not like an actual standing stool. It doesn't look like it is made for climbing on. But nonetheless, we are going to paint it up. It's going to be adorable when we're done. And I did not put a sticker on it. Hold on. What y'all up to today? Did I list it? Did I list it? Hold on. Hold, please. Seems like every week now I do this with at least one item. It's fine. I did list it. I forgot to put it in the Shop the Haul collection. $29.95, steal of a deal. And I only paid a couple bucks for this. It wasn't overweight at the bins. There we go. All right, I'm gonna set it there since we're gonna paint it. After I'm done painting this, I've got to quick clean up my mess. My landlord is coming over to sign another year lease on this house, which is phenomenal news because if you've been following me for any amount of time, I have outgrown my last two houses very, very quickly with my growing business. So that is phenomenal news, but I need to clean up a few things. I found this amazing corner hamper. I actually kept this here for a few weeks and it just is not big enough. I don't do laundry very often since it's just me and I need a bigger hamper, but this is great. It's a very small size. It would be good in like a kiddo's room, or just to store in the corner for like a couple of throw blankets or slipper, whatever you want to toss in it. But I love the fact that it fits into the corner of the room. It saves so much room. Just not big enough for me. I think my sticker also fell off of this one. $44.95 on the corner hamper. I don't remember how much I paid for it. Not today, Brenda. But I can definitely look for some tomorrow. Let me get my handy dandy notebook. That's what you're in the mood to shop for. Brenda is asking for outside decor like rusty, crusty, buckets, statues, etc. What kind of statues? Animals? Also, Brenda, I think I'm going to pop up on Whatnot tonight, this afternoon. Like it's probably around 2 or 3, 4, somewhere like that. Animal statues. Okay. Okay. This was an amazing find yesterday at Frugal's. It was only $3. I have it up at $54.95, and it is a kind of a faux ceiling tin decor shelf. I love these. This one has a great faux patina on it already, so I'm not going to do a darn thing to it. The colors are great, and it is big. Again, the listing has the dimensions on it, and then it has nice built-in hangers on it as well. Absolutely love that chippy green, and there's a ton of texture. Ooh, this one is really fun. This gathering basket, I almost left it behind. Found it in the bins yesterday. Almost left it behind because it is missing a couple of its little details right here. Now, I know you can buy this weave online. It would be easy enough to buy a little bit and repair it if you wanted to. But I flipped it over and it has a made in Italy stamp. So I was like, oh my gosh. Looked it up. It's definitely vintage and a really nice basket. Look at all of the like wear on the top of the handle. It almost looks like it caught on fire, but I don't think it did. It's just like the bark is darker. Oh, that's the outside of the tree. This is the inside of the tree. So that is the bark. Yeah, yeah. It's gorgeous. It is so pretty. Like, can you imagine going out in the morning and collecting your little flowers? I mean, like in a cute little dress or something. That's not me, but somebody needs this with their beautiful summer dress. $44.95. I grabbed it for around $1 out of the bins. And then I picked up another huge, amazing planter box. This one is going to get a chippy milk paint job, and I'm going to add some handles onto the end of it as well. This is a big one. This one is also going to be great for like a huge dining room table. I'll clean it all up and give it a good chippy paint job that will look good with the white peeking through. Good morning, Vicki. How are you? And this guy is $49.95, and it was a $5 item at the Goodwill bins. Yay! All right, let's do a little painting, shall we? Shall we, shall we? Can y'all hear the birds? They're going off out there. They woke me up this morning. I had my window open, and I'm like, oh, yeah. Springtime. First time you caught me live. Awesome. Well, I just went through my thrift haul, so you can catch the replay and kind of watch that. But I am about to paint one of the things I got. Give me just a second here. I've got to adjust my lighting. It's just so dark in here today. I have no natural lighting. So I chose Sweet Pickins Milk Paint in the color Basil. You can also find all of these painting products over on the website, and I can drop links for you in the chat if you need me to. And I've got some waxes and dusts here. I'm going to grab some warm water. Milk paint is a powder form. You mix it with water, and it turns into your paint medium. Oh my gosh, you can tell this is one of my favorite colors. I already have 2 scoops in here. Goodness gracious. You mix it a 1-to-1 ratio with water, and it mixes up better with warm water. So I'm going to grab some warm water really quick. Okay. So we don't need too much to cover the stool. I'm going to probably do like an 1/8 of a, 1/4 of a cup is fine. If I've got a little extra, then I can paint something else when I'm done. So I have a 1/4 cup of warm water here. Shoot, that was the cup I was going to use. Oh my goodness gracious. Hold on. Oh man, maybe 9 a.m. is too early for Brie. Okay, 1/4 cup of warm water. It's dirty because there's already green milk paint powder in there, so no worries. And then here's a 1/4 cup here. I think I don't really trust it, so I'm just going to make sure it's the same amount. See here, 1/4 cup, 1/4 cup. Water goes in first, powder goes in second. And then you mix, and you need to mix it up for a couple minutes. I usually let it sit for like 10 or 15 minutes, but ain't nobody got time for that today. If you are painting furniture and you want a smoother finish, you don't want it to be super chippy, super rough, make sure you are mixing your paint with something like an immersion blender. When I'm just doing small decor pieces and I want it to be good and chippy, I just mix it with a fork, and I don't worry too much about little tiny clumps. Can I compare Sweet Pickins to Fusion? I cannot, because I've never used Fusion. Sorry. I don't think Fusion's anything like this, right? Does Fusion have a milk paint? Oh, Diffusion milk paint. Okay, yeah, sorry. No, I can't, Vicki. I've never used it before. If anybody else in the chat knows, feel free. I don't mind to comment on that, but I've never used Fusion milk paint. I am kind of a creature of habit. When I find things I like, I stick with them. Okay, this is just a touch runny, so I'm going to add just a little bit more powder. Now, as it sits for 10 to 15 minutes, it does thicken up a little bit too, but it's going to be just fine. We don't need it to be super thick today. After it sits 10 to 15 minutes, it will be like the consistency of a melted milkshake. Right now I have like a runny milkshake. After it sits, it would be one like a just slightly melted. Seems like Fusion chips more in my experience. Gotcha, Vicki. There are definitely things that you can do to enhance your chipping, which I'm going to show you today. So that's cool. Also, Sweet Pickins sells a crackle medium that you can put down on your project before you paint. That really makes it chippy and crackly. I do have edited videos up on my YouTube channel. If you type in Upcycled by Brie, crackle, milk paint, it'll pop right up for you. Okay, so actually this will get to sit for just a minute while we work on this. So I've got these pieces or these spots here on the stool where like all of that old glue would not come off. I was using my sander and it was just like heating it up and getting it gummy. But I'm like, you know what? We want a crackly finish anyway, so it's going to be fine. And I'm going to use my Sweet Pickins beeswax before I even paint on a couple spots. And that's going to provide a resist. It's going to keep the paint from sticking to the wood right there. So it's going to chip off for us a lot easier. And I'm just actually going to use my finger. There's not very much wax left in here, so I'm not too worried about it. I'm just going to use my finger, get a little bit of the Sweet Pickins wax out and put it in like around the edge in a couple spots. This wood on the stool is raw. It's that, you know, there's no top coat on it. It's dry, it's raw. So the milk paint really is going to like seep into that wood and not probably crackle a ton and chip a ton unless I help it along. So this is kind of perfect, Vicki. All right, so I'm just going to kind of rub it around a couple of the corners. Where there's that texture from the glue, I'm going to kind of rub it on top of that too. Fortunately, it's the same color. That's going to provide some like good chippy texture right there. So milk paint, you can really like, you know, work with your project. If you've got something that's, you know, it's just not going to come out like perfect MCM, flawless finish, work with your project. Use milk paint. Make it old and antique instead. Okay, so you can see the spots there where I rubbed the wax. It's a little shinier. It's a little bit darker. And then the beeswax is all natural, so I usually just rub the rest into my hands. Oh, not its intended purpose. All right, so it's sat for a couple minutes here, and you can see it's thickening up. I have got my Klingon F40. I like using my Klingon brushes with the milk paint because they're a little easier to clean. You can just pop them in water overnight, and the paint will basically just fall off the bristles the next morning. And we're just going to apply a nice, generous coat across this entire thing. Not worried about even perfect coverage. It can be a little lumpy, a little bumpy, a little thicker in a couple spots, because that's going to also help enhance the crackling and the chipping if it's a little thicker in a couple spots. And I will go and paint the underneath side of this as well, but I'm not going to mess with it while I'm live. I'm not going to paint the legs. I'm going to keep it two-toned. I almost dropped it on my new shoes. Oh, by the way, DIY paint, water soluble, right? Till it's sealed. You got a little bit of grace. This milk paint, not so much. If you get it in your clothes, it's staying on your clothes. Probably should have put my apron on. All right, so there, one nice coat, and I only used like about half of that. So I'll use the rest on the bottom and maybe paint a candlestick or something. That way none goes to waste, because this will get all clumpy and jellified and gross after a couple of hours. All right, you can see it's a little thicker. Maybe you can, maybe you can't. See, it's a little thicker in a couple spots. Not too worried about that. Now I'm going to take my heat gun. This is the other thing you can do to force a little extra crackle. You can heat it up quicker. I just have a Wagner heat gun here. So y'all talk amongst yourselves for a second, and we're going to get this dried up. As it starts to crackle, I'll hold it up closer for you. Yeah, let's see, it's already starting to. So with the heat gun, make sure you keep it moving across your project, especially when you're using the milk paint. If you don't want crackle, don't use a heat gun at all. I love this color. Basil is like the OG. It's like my favorite. It's dark. It's very dark. I have also mixed it with like the color creamy. Oh my gosh. The mix of basil and creamy is really good too. In fact, I think I reposted maybe that Facebook reel yesterday on my stories of a little dresser I did, a little antique dresser. All right, so now as I start to get it a little more dry, I am going to hold it in a couple spots too long. That's going to make the paint kind of start bubbling. And where that bubbling happens, chipping is really going to happen. And look there, Vicki, right before your eyes, it is starting to chip up. And it's chipping right there. Underneath is where I had the wax. My idea with these blue spots, kind of where they were, the way I'm going to age it up, it's going to kind of look like wear spots from where people may have stood on it with their feet. You'll see. If I was painting like a flawless, no, I wouldn't be painting a flawless antique, but if I was painting like grandma's antique furniture or something, or a big piece of furniture to redo, I would have taken the time to get all that glue and stuff off properly. Like there's some projects that you can work with it, and there's some projects where, it needs to be done the correct way. You know what I'm saying? A little glue on an old antique stool was not going to cause me a headache. And again, I will go through and paint the bottom after I'm live, or after I'm done being live. Painting the bottom of things is kind of boring to watch and takes a little more concentration. All right, I think we're basically dry here. All right, so where I have the wax, all the paint is starting to chip up and flake off already. And you can see a couple of different color tones. That is just because the paint was thicker in one spot, thinner in the other. I could go and do a second coat on this, but I'm going to distress it anyway, so I don't mind. All right, let me grab my sandpaper here. I have got like some pretty worn down 120 grit, and I'm just going to take it along the edges and where it's chipping. And where that paint is chipping off, that's where you're going to get your good chippy finish. And that's the glue. And see, it's going to blend right in now with the rest of that chipping. So no worries. I'm not applying much pressure here right now. I'm just trying to kind of knock off the loose paint with this 120. So I know they always say wax is going to be your last step. Wax is always last. But if you want a chippy effect, you're going to do wax first. All right, let me grab a paper towel. I'll wipe off any excess here. And now I've got 220, very, very fine. And I'm going to go across this whole thing just to even out the tones of the paint, smooth out any lumps and bumps. So milk paint can be kind of unpredictable. DIY paint is a little more like user-friendly, maybe beginner-friendly. But if you've never tried milk paint before, a little project like this, a little stool or something, is a great way to start to practice. Okay, now I'm just going to take my, I'm trying to figure out what this color here is from. Because the glue's here and here. I don't know. It's interesting. That's why I said it's kind of unpredictable sometimes. I'm going to take that same beeswax, just get a little bit here on a paper towel, and we are going to buff it into the paint to seal it. You don't need much. A little goes a long ways. And also this beeswax, oh my gosh, it smells so good, like citrus. And it's perfect for using over raw wood as well. So say you redid a dresser or something, and maybe you wanted to freshen up the inside of the drawers a little bit. You could do a nice thin coat of beeswax in the drawers to freshen them. Okay. There we go. So that has sealed it. I kind of like, I don't know where this tone came from, but I like it. It looks like a whole different paint color. And then I've got my dark beeswax as well. And I'm going to take just a little bit of that, not too much. A little tiny bit of the dark. And I'm going to play into where that glue was. Nice. So see how it kind of has darkened that up to blend a little bit. There's some of the glue without the dark wax. There it is with the dark. Nice. Nice. Yeah, looks like somebody stepped up onto this a bajillion million times over the years. I love milk paint. Some people think it's a little bit of a pain in the butt, I think, because they have to mix it up, but it just provides a finish unlike a chalk or clay-based paint. So I'm kind of putting the dark on like these two spots on each side, kind of where the feet would have stood on the stool, right? Dirty old soles of shoes. So think about that when you're distressing things. Instead of just making random spots everywhere, you know, I really focused on like the edges and the foot spots on the footstool. And then last up here, I have DIY Decrepit Dust. This is obviously not a Sweet Pickins product, but the DIY and the Sweet Pickins products play really well. This is just another aging, antiquing medium, but it provides a little amount of like grunge or dirt. It literally looks like dirt. So I'm going to go right over where I had the dark wax and just kind of stipple that on. And then I'm going to take that same paper towel, just kind of the clean part of it, and wipe off the extra. If I get too much in one spot, I can take a little bit of clear wax, wipe it back, and it'll wipe that extra off. Okay. There's such a glare from that light. I'm so sorry. Hopefully next week our sunshine will be back. And then I'm just going to use like just a little bit here on the corners, maybe like where dirty hands would have picked it up. I'm thinking this is like, you know, a little footstool in the barn or in the farmhouse or pantry or something like that. Oh, so good. So good. Okay. There we go. There we go. When I watch the replay, the picture seems better than what I can actually see on my screen. So hopefully the lighting isn't absolute trash today. Again, I'm sorry if it is. I like it. I'll get some really good pictures of this when it's all dry. Let it sit, you know, for a few hours or whatever in some better lighting and get final pictures up on Facebook and YouTube. And again, I will paint just the bottom side of this, but not the legs. One sanded sweet pickings feels so soft. It does. It is like a buttery smooth. So if you don't want a crackly finish, you want it to be a really, really smooth, soft finish, you can achieve that. But you can also achieve this like textured, and it's still soft to the touch, even though it has so much texture because I gobbed it up in places. But yeah, I love it. It's great. Fun times, folks. Thanks for hanging out with me on this Saturday morning. If y'all have any questions, you can drop them in the chat real quick. I am going to drop the Sweet Pickins collection before I hop off. Give me just a second. And then I am going to clean up my mess before the landlord gets here. And I have a ton of work to catch up on this weekend. Melissa's been out of town. My shipping gal has been on vacation this week. She'll be back Monday. Things will be resumed to normal. All right. And I got that dropped there in the chat. That is the Sweet Pickins Milk Paint collection. If y'all want to check out Sweet Pickins Milk Paint for yourself, all listed up on my website, upcycledbybrie.com, as well as all of my thrift haul items this morning. Thank you guys so much for hanging out, and I will see y'all very soon. Have a great Saturday, guys. Bye.